Hey guys, I am out in my chicken yard and we are doing that expansion. So if you saw a previous video that I did, we talked about expanding our chicken yard, and that is what's going up right here. We also have our gate in, and so we need to get this section secured, and then there's a section back here we'll need to take down, and then they'll have this really large L-shaped yard here. But I thought this might be a really good time to show you some of our favorite fencing tools. So just simple things that we have come across that really seem to make a big difference in getting our fences up or even taken down. So one of the first ones I want to talk about are gate hinges. So obviously we're installing a gate here. This is going to be a gate that gets me from our chicken yard here into our turkey yard. So it needed to be a gate that was easy to open and close. We happen to have this little chain link gate in another spot that wasn't being utilized. So this is the perfect gate for us to use in this area. But I wanted also a simple hinge system. So I got a set of these Tpost hinges. Of course, they'll be linked below in the description, but let me show you how they go on. Here is the design on them, and it's really pretty simple. So they go on kind of sideways. So I have the T-post set up here with the little nibs on the front here. And then this just fits right over. And you can slide it down to wherever you need the hinge. And then it kind of sits at an angle. You tighten this bolt so it doesn't slide down further. Now, to ensure that it also doesn't slide down further, when you tilt that angle, you'll want to try to align that on one of the little nibs that are on the front of your T-post. I got a little bit taller T-post for this kind of hinge side, and I just drove it down deeper into the earth to give it a little bit more stay power to hold up that gate. So as you can see, I now have a gate on hinges right here, and in a traditional fencing setting, this T-post would probably have some tension on there because of the fence running through here. This is going right up against our chicken run hoop, and so what we're going to do is add some wires here to kind of gives a little bit more stability to this post. But it is a fairly lightweight gate, so this is going to work out really great for us. And we can just get a latch on this side and we will be good to go. Another thing that I need to do is take down this existing fencing. This is where the old chicken yard ended, and now it's going out quite a bit further. So this fence is no longer needed. We do want to use it in a different area, and we want to salvage those T-posts. I'm going to show you the next tool. This is probably actually my favorite tool for fencing projects, and that is because it saves your T-posts and makes it so much easier to remove them. So let me get some of the wiring taken down real quick, and then I'll show you our Tpost puller. I'll have to get my little electric chainsaw to cut this back because it has grown through the fence. But I can show you on these T-posts the fence, or the Tpost puller. This is definitely a tool I wish we would have bought right from the get-go. And I think the reason we didn't was we were kind of misled into thinking they didn't really work. And I want to show you that they really do. So this is it. It does have a spot for your T-post to fit in to, and then it has a hook so you can use a chain if needed on different kinds of posts. I'll try to show you on this side angle here exactly how it works. First things first, you just want to make sure that the part that sits on the ground is parallel to your T-post, and then this part just fits right over the T-post. And as you slide it down, it kind of grabs hold and locks underneath these little nibs that are on the front of your T-post. So once you get it into place, you simply pull the lever and your T-post comes straight out of the ground with no bending. Lift up the lever, it will slide down, and you can pull again. Don't be deceived, our ground is just extremely dry and hard clay. You could always wet it and make it a breeze to pull these out. So really that simple. The T-post is out, it's not bent, it can be reused very easily, and the ground's not all torn up from shaking this back and forth and trying to make a bigger hole in the ground. So it's the best tool we have for fence building right now. One of the biggest benefits of this is not just salvaging all of our T-posts, but that I'm no longer afraid to just pop a fence up really quick, even temporarily, because I know I can pull my T-post back out whenever I need to. So it's really given us the freedom to pop up a quick fence and test it out. If it doesn't work, we know we can simply move it to the next spot or just take it down completely. This next one isn't necessarily a tool, but it is a must-have for us, and these are Tpost covers. So if you look at this T-post here, it is a bare metal edge and fairly sharp points on it. And depending on your T-post age and integrity, sometimes little bits chip off, giving it a really, really sharp edge. And I have seen my fair share of tragedies of horses impaling themselves on these when they, rear up or play and come down on them. So it's cheaper for us to not have a vet bill than the price of these. So we opt to put them on all of our T-posts. It's imperative on fence lines that are shared with the horses. This one is not going to be, this is separating our turkeys from our chickens, but we are still going to put them on every single post because, like I said, this one's an older T-post, extremely sharp edges. So if a horse got in here and hurt themselves on this, it would be a costly vet bill or worse. Just a few dollars, you could have some peace of mind. These slip right on. They're very secure once they're on, and then you have no sharp edges. There are several different designs of these that will work on all your different T-posts. Some have a flat, they're round and they have a flat top. They can also be integrated with hot wire, so if you need to run a hot wire across the top so your horses don't reach over. They do have Tpost covers, like I said, that make that happen. So not necessarily a tool, but a must-have on our fencing projects. And then this one's also not necessarily a tool, maybe more of a hack. This is just a short 2x4 that we use as a fence stretcher. So just wedge that between your fence and your post, and then you can do this by yourself if you need to, or hopefully you have a helper. It's a little hard to see in the video, but I'm using my leg to hold the board in place, so just adding a little pressure so that it stays nice and tight while I wire up the fence. Just a little fence stretching hack, especially if you are alone, or I find the metal ones with chains really cumbersome to use, and this works out really, really well, especially on this kind of fencing. So we opted for, this is called snow fencing. We like the wood look, the price is right, especially for something like this that is just holding our chickens separate from our turkeys. And so this little fence hack works out really, really well. And while we do have a tractor, it's often a little bit of a tight fit to get into certain places to remove those T-posts, so it's just not really feasible all the time. Clark did install these hooks on top, so we do have that option, and it's very handy when we are able to use those. And we would like to eventually get something welded on the bottom that we could use to maybe help push in T-posts instead of pounding them in. Especially if we want to eventually switch over from all of these step-in posts. There's probably 200 on the property, and want to convert those over to a more permanent fence. Might be a worthwhile investment. But in the meantime, this is working for us. I'd love to hear your tips and tricks and hacks, so just let me know. It is getting really hot out, so we will finish this up tonight when it's a lot cooler and in the shade.